everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome back and happy Monday. I'm super excited today to share this adorable palm tree and how I machine quilted it. So before we get started, there are just a couple things that I do want to tell you about. So this adorable palm tree that I'm quilting here is just one tiny little portion of the adorable Starry Night quilt. So if you've not yet seen this adorable quilt, the pattern was designed by So Kind of Wonderful, and I am custom machine quilting this quilt here for my client Sondra. Now I do have a brand new video available now in the PNQ Academy. You can join on our website, pnqquilt.com. But in that video, not only will I show you how I machine quilt this palm tree, but I'll also share how I machine quilt all the rest of the quilt. So it's kind of like hanging out in the studio with me for a day as I custom machine quilt a quilt and share all my tips and tricks as I'm working my way through this quilt. This video you don't want to miss. It is full of everything. As you can see, this quilt has some of everything in it. So let's focus just on the palm tree today. I am going to be using a lot of different thread colors throughout this quilt. So you'll see a little bit of my background filler here. In my background filler, I'm going to be using So Fine color number 451. Then as I move on to the actual palm tree, up on the palms or on the leaves, I'm going to be using So Fine color number 468. And then as I move down through the trunk of the tree, I'm going to be using So Fine color number 426. So in this video, I am also going to be doing a little bit of marking. Because I'm going to be quilting some feathers, I'm going to mark the spine of my feather using the blue Mark Be Gone marker. I've had really great success using the blue Mark Be Gone marker. Just make sure you've removed your markings 100% before you apply any heat when using the Mark Be Gone. Okay, so back to the thread. I am going to be using the pre-wound bobbins here on my Gamma machine. These are the new Super Bobs by Superior Threads. I have been loving them. I love the way that they're running on my machine. So for a while now, that's what I've been working with. I will do all my quilting here on my Gamma 22-inch machine. Across this whole quilt, I'm going to be stitching in the stitch regulated mode, and I do have my stitch length set at 13 stitches per inch. So you'll also see that I'm going to be doing just a little bit of ruler work. I always love rulers. When working with machine quilting rulers, make sure that you do have a ruler foot on your machine. And if you're working on a sit-down machine, you're going to want to have a large flat working surface. If you're working on a long arm machine like I'm doing here, you're going to need to have an extended base plate on your machine for any ruler work. The ruler that I'm going to be using here today is our 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, and you will see that I do have our Piece and Quilt pop socket ruler grip attached to the top side of the ruler. All right, so this quilt has a lot of fun texture and loft thanks to the awesome Quilter's Dream wool batting. Now you can pick up all the products that I've mentioned here, plus enroll in the PNQ Academy over on our website, pnqquilt.com. Let's get stitching. Let's start out with a couple of images of this adorable palm tree after my machine quilting is all complete. You can also see a little bit of a sneak peek here of the rest of this adorable Starry Night quilt. Like I said, you won't want to miss this awesome new PNQ Academy video. But for now, let's focus on that palm tree. I'm going to start out by using a blue Mark Be Gone marker, and I'm going to mark a spine through the center of each of the palm leaf sections on this quilt. I personally have found great success using the blue Mark Be Gone marker for my markings. So that's what I like to use. I just always make sure that my markings are 100% removed before I apply any heat. Once I have that spine marked, now I'm ready to begin quilting. So I have switched thread colors here, and I am using green thread. The marking is a little bit hard to see here at this camera angle, but just know it is marked through the center. I'm quilting here starting at the bottom point of this feather. That's just the place I like to start when machine quilting my feathers. So I'll start out at that bottom point and quilt the first feather. Then from there, I'm going to add that fun little bump on the outside of the feather, and I'm also going to add a little spine into the center of each of the feathers, really kind of giving it, to me, the look of a palm tree. I'll repeat this process as I work my way moving up towards the top of the palm tree. Then at that point, I'll kind of curve around the corner and work down to the end. Once I've stitched those feathers all the way down the first side, then I'm going to free motion quilt kind of right along that marked line back to the point where I began quilting. From there, now I'm going to repeat that same process this time, now just working on the top or opposite side of my feather. So once I've completed the quilting in that first side, now I'm going to use the side of my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. You can see I've got that piece and quilt pop socket ruler grip attached to the top side to stitch in the ditch around the top of that leaf. Now when I get to that center point, so the spine that I've marked over on my next leaf, I'll stop, and at that point I'm going to go right into quilting feathers on that one. And I'll quilt these feathers the same process that I did on the first section. So I'll repeat that process again down on that third leaf, making all of those leaves quilted with those fun feathers. Now I'm actually going to switch thread colors and move down and work on the trunk of this tree. On the trunk of the tree, you can see I have already quilted that background filler and done some echo quilting and also my stitch in the ditch work. Now through the trunk of the tree, I am stitching these long wavy lines. Again, quilting here on my Gamel 22-inch machine. I am stitching in the stitch regulated mode, and I do have my stitch length set at 13 stitches per inch. As I stitch out these lines, I start down as low as my throat space will allow, so as close to my body, and then from there I push away. I feel like the quilt is pretty stabilized here, so I feel pretty confident in working from bottom up to the top. I love how this palm tree turned out. You've got to check out the full video where I share my full process machine quilting this awesome Starry Night quilt, available in the PNQ Academy. Enroll on our website, peaceandquilt.com. Have a great day, everybody.
What do you call two ducks and a cow? Quackers and milk. What do you call a rooster staring at a pile of lettuce? A chicken Caesar salad.